What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3-Point Stance presented by Mountain Dew. I am John Roser. I have along the lovely Meghan Triplett with me, rocking her Mountain Dew merch, rocking
Course.
her Mountain Dew gear,
I gotta
drink
get
Mountain Dew.
merch. Yes.
You got that Mountain Dew merch. Meghan Triple definitely doing the do. We've got three topics for you that we want to discuss today. And the first thing I will say we'll go into is the event that happened on Sunday, and that is the match. Uh, with Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning taking on Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady in a charity golf tournament, all proceeds benefiting COVID-19 relief. And then you had a bunch of other golfers getting in on it because Tom Brady was so bad in the beginning that Brooks Koepka said, you know what? If Tom Brady can actually par a hole, I will donate $100,000. I'll donate $100,000. And Tom Brady, of course, ended up holing one from the fairway. And Brooks Koepka said that's why he's the GOAT. But my take on this, aside from it was just aside from it was just good to see some live sports, is I think golf, it was the highest rated golf event on cable television ever. I think golf could really look at this and how they did this as far as the players being mic'd up, that the PGA Tour could look at this going forward. And I think that would be something they absolutely need to do. Your thoughts on that?
I think you have a great point. I didn't watch the match. I got a lot of family stuff going on, but I saw a lot of clips on Twitter and some of the sound bites, and it was absolutely hilarious. Of course, you have Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Tiger Woods, and like when you think about that dynamic of the personalities, they make for must-see TV always. They rag on each other. It was fun. It was for a good cause. I think it would be good to kind of possibly maybe, the first thing coming out of, this whole COVID-19 thing, maybe that's a good time to like test out the mics. I would like to see some of these golf personalities. I think it would bring more money to the golfers' pockets. I think sometimes it's harder to know a lot of these golfers. It's really just about the sport. A lot of them aren't really, really big on, so I would love to see how they would feel, make them a little uncomfortable. What's going on in their head? What are they saying to each other? Are they talking? Is there trash talk? I'm not a big golf person, so I don't know. You might know more than I do, but I think you have a point. I think it would be hilarious and fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about during regular tournaments every week once the PGA Tour really gets started back up here in like a week or two. I don't know how much trash talk goes on during those events, but I mean, I do know the trash talk on this one. It was funny when Tom Brady, Tiger Woods did not say much during this, but he had great trash talk when he did, and when Tom Brady just totally sliced a drive and it went way off, and Tiger says, well, you got the fairway, Tom, but like over on like the seventh hole, you hit like the seventh fairway, like wrong fairway. And I don't think the players will talk that much trash to each other when there's like a big event going on. And who knows about if all the events will allow this, specifically Augusta and like at the Masters. I don't know if they'd be down with this, or the USGA would allow it at the US Open. But I just think from even the standpoint of, I found it interesting with Phil Mickelson during this because Phil talks through every shot, and he says it's just interesting to say, like, this is where I'm trying to go with this right here. This is where I want to go hit this shot. And then when he was helping Tom Brady just read the greens, and if you could hear these guys when it's actually a real tournament and their conversations that they would have with their caddies about what they're reading on the green. If you're down to the final three holes of a major tournament and, it's like Phil Mickelson trailing, Brooks Koepka by one shot or something, to hear Phil's conversations with his caddy on, okay, this is the putt we have right here, or this is our shot that we have. This is where we are on the fairway. This is where we want to hit it on the green. But if we can't hit it there, we definitely don't want to hit it there, and we don't want to hit it there. Just to hear all the strategy that plays into it, I think would be a tremendous boost for golf. So next up, I apologize for my dog sneezing in the background right there.
Your dog?
Yeah, he's getting a little wound up. It's about time for him to go outside and play. Next up, the NBA. So it appears Michelle Roberts has contacted NBA players directly. Jaren Jackson Jr. is the team representative for the Grizzlies. Jaren's even tweeted, I think things are starting to come together, around tweeted something like that he thinks it's going to be soon. Ja followed it quote tweeting with just the hourglass. The hourglass, like the sand coming through, like the time is almost near. The NBA is going to have a call with the Board of Governors on Friday. So I think Friday we should know what the plan is for the NBA. But I just have to say that my favorite plan has definitely been the World Cup style, which Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer wrote about, that they are talking about, and that we discussed yesterday on the Chris Vernon show, that you would take teams, there'd be 5 tiers, be 20 teams, they'd be in groups of 5, 4 groups of 5, and you play each team in your group twice. Now, it wouldn't be like possible to where the Lakers and the Bucks could be in the same group, because they're obviously the 2 best teams. They would not be able to be in the same group, nor could they be in the same group with the Clippers or the Toronto Raptors, who are also have those teams, the 4 best records in the league. And I love this because I think you could end up with some very interesting matchups. And if you only play each team twice, I think you can end up with upsets too. I think you could really end up with upsets in this group play, and it really makes what would be technically the opening round of the playoffs. I think it makes it really interesting. And then obviously going forward next season, you can't do that, because then you have to start implementing home court advantage back into play. But I think for this one time during these weird times that we're having, I think that is a perfect way to do it.
So you said 20 teams, right?
Yeah, they put 20.
So the thing is, like, I have been, researching all these different scenarios and trying to figure it out. And, like, honestly, there's a lot of fun scenarios that you can do. Now, World Cup scenario, I have never wrapped my head around how they really figure all that out. I just watch the World Cup. That's when soccer comes into my life. But, Mark Cuban, he's proposing, he's very vocal, and he's proposing that he still thinks that all 30 teams should play 5 to 7 regular season ending games, because of the whole different like seeding situations that especially the Eastern Conference will have, and especially to make up that money when it comes to these local regional networks trying to get something, back from that. And it's really hard, because in my gut reaction at the beginning of this whole COVID-19 stuff was to go straight to the playoffs. Let's go straight to the playoffs. Maybe I'm biased because the Grizzlies got that, that are sitting comfortably in that A spot. But, I know the Eastern Conference has a lot of questions still. I wanted just to go straight to the playoffs, but then I get into like this owner head, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I get it from the standpoint of, a lot of teams have, money to make up, the positioning is not all the way it's where it's just guaranteed. I still am like tugging on my heart just to go straight to the playoffs and figure out a way where you just get, the top 8 teams from each conference.
That's the thing. You have to get the 70 games to hit to get your regional sports, the RSN money to get it. Well, the opening round of the playoffs can be broadcast on local television. They can be broadcast locally. So if you did this and you're playing each team in your group twice, that's 8 games. The Grizzlies had already played 65. It's every other team. You're either at 65, maybe 66, or you played 63, 64. But you're all right there to where 8 games will get you over that point. Now, Damian Lillard said today that if they come back and they don't have a chance to make the playoffs, if they're just going to start the playoffs with those 16 teams, why does he want to play? Well, and I see that with this 20 teams right here that they'd be doing. But that just goes to say for like the Phoenix Suns, like, yeah, they'd be cut out of this. But I mean, why would they want to play anyway if they don't have a chance to make the playoffs? And under any kind of circumstance, how they're going to come back and play, the Phoenix Suns are not going to have a chance to make the playoffs. The Minnesota Timberwolves aren't going to have a chance. The New York Knicks are not going to have a chance to make the playoffs, kind of like they haven't in like the last 20 years. So, there are going to be some teams and players upset about this, but I think this would definitely just make for the most interesting and the most fun.
But, I think the best thing that we can both agree on is that I love that it's at Walt Disney World. Obviously, you're probably not going to get the Walt Disney World type of aspect of it that you would normally get, but I think it's a great place for them.
In the crowd.
Yes. But you like hopefully, yeah, you do see Mickey, Goofy. It's going to be absolutely amazing to see these grown men,
stormtroopers in the crowd. Vader sitting on one side with the stormtroopers, and you can have like Han Solo and Luke Skywalker sitting on the Grizzlies side, because we would be the underdogs. People would be rooting for the underdogs.
It would be great.
Yeah. Like I think a lot of fun. You can do a lot of fun with this way, and nobody has home court advantage, like unless you want to count the Orlando Magic, because it'd be in Orlando, but like they wouldn't be playing in their arena with fans.
Right, you still wouldn't have fans. So Friday comes out. What scenario will come out that would make you the most mad?
If they have a playoff for the 8 seed.
Oh yeah.
They did that kind of. If they did like some kind of playoff for the 8 seed, that would. For the 7, 8 seeds, that would irritate me. That would really irritate me.
I think I'm with you on that one. I think I'm with you.
To me, we're just trying to get Zion in the playoffs. That's what it is. Zion in the playoffs. That's all that would be. So speaking of irritated, you know who's really going to be irritated? Major League Baseball players.
Ooh, yes.
From what has come out about Major League Baseball, and Major League Baseball has completely botched this. The Major League Baseball could have had this figured out, and they could have gotten a 2-month head start. Now, yes, baseball's always played in the summer when there's nothing else going on, but there's never been a time like this where people are starving for live sports. You see NASCAR with its highest ratings than they've had in like the previous 3 years outside of like that for events that aren't the Daytona 500. It's crazy how they could have gotten a head start on this. So, this is the report that Major League Baseball has made to the players. Jesse Rogers from ESPN reported this. This is what a player making $35 million this year in Major League Baseball. The proposal for this year would be they make $7.84 million. A player making as low as $563,500 would make $262,000. You're talking a player making $15 million a year this year. They would make $4.05 million this year. Okay, so you're talking guys giving up essentially something like 60% of their salary this year. If you go for the prorated, if you did, so you're talking about an 82-game schedule. Mm-hmm. If you gave someone making $35 million a year the full prorated portion of their salary, someone making $35 million, it'd be $17.7 million. Okay, that's what you would think it should be. Nope, it's $7.84 million is what Major League Baseball, the owner's proposal, is to players. Baseball is just shooting itself in the foot, and this is a perfect time to get a lot of fans. Baseball has become more of a regional sport, where if you have Major League Baseball in the city that you live in, you're probably a little bit more of a baseball fan. But they are shooting themselves in the foot right here. It's another time where you saw the strike in '94. You're seeing now it's just money. Money is getting in the way of owners and of players. And if this is what this proposal really is, this is just owners being freaking insanely greedy. Greedy.
You know, I feel like a lot of what we're talking about is a lot of questions. A lot of questionings of like how you make up for what you're missing. You know, should people be paid? And originally, it's like, okay, if I'm a Major League Baseball player, I'm mad. I'm getting, a pay cut on, what I would have been getting paid. And obviously the numbers are crazy numbers. Like, for someone who's not making millions of dollars, it's crazy to think about getting a significant pay cut, but still making $1 million, obviously. But you got to think about a lot of these players have families. A lot of these players have cost of living, and you still have to maintain that. A lot of these players are giving money back to their families, who are somewhere else that they, that they're taking care of. And you can't just expect someone to be okay with not making that much money and be able to live. It's hard to say that, obviously sitting in my shoes, but you have to think about, not everyone is prepared to take a significant pay cut like that when it comes to your cost of living. If you weren't prepared for that going into COVID-19, I don't know how, the owners and the Major League Baseball thought that this was a good proposal to kind of bring to the union and bring to the table and think, oh, we're definitely going to get on board with this one. Obviously, there's a lot of money in baseball. There are a lot of games in baseball that is like a crazy number. I don't know what the answer is. It's really hard to figure out what could work.
What is I saw this. Okay, about 65% of all players make $1 million or less per year. About 65% of players. So this is what the owners are doing. It's the same thing the NFL owners do to the players. Because so many more NFL players don't make a ton of money than the guys that actually do make a lot of money. And so you just hold their feet to the fire, because these guys that make less and less money, they don't have the disposable income that these guys that make $20 million a year do. And it's going to hit a point where it's they're going to have to go to these guys who do make a lot of money and say, guys, we got to take the deal. Like, I've got to get money. I've got to put food on the table. I've got to provide. You've just got to take it. That is what always happens with the NFL. And the owners know that. And I think Major League Baseball owners know this, and they know that's why they can do this.
So they're trying to back up the highest paid players that get these crazy numbers, to back them into a wall to say, be a great teammate. Eventually trying to be a great teammate to kind of help out those players, as you mentioned, who make
younger players are just going to have to be like, fine, I'll take. It's essentially the players that make. I mean, it's 65% of players make $1 million or less. In $1 million, you'll make $434,000 under the proposal, and the 563,000 players will make $262,000.
I mean, we have to say it's still a lot of money. You can live off of it, but as we mentioned, it's crazy because
$262,000. I'll take it.
I was gladly I will sign me up. But however, it's a lot of money, and I know it's hard. It's hard. It's always hard to talk about money, especially rich people talking about money when you're going through such a tough time that the world is going through, because there's people who are going through less than. It's just one of those things of like, I don't know how you make it fair for everyone, because they're, as you mentioned, that scale of what people are getting paid is so big and it's so broad. So it's just, I mean, 200. Oh, you said $200,000.
I think the guy, because it is over 65% of players make $1 million or less. So that means 35% of Major League Baseball makes $2 million or more. So the higher percentage of numbers is with the guys who make less, and those are probably the people that are actually starving to get some paychecks right now.
They're more set right now.
Yeah, like Mike Trout for the Angels is not starving to get a paycheck. Like Aaron Judge is not out there. It's a lot of these guys that make big money now. They're not starving for a paycheck right now. Whereas a lot of these other guys, they absolutely are. And I think they will probably, and this is what Major League Baseball owners are hoping, that they just tell those players, look, take the deal. Like, you guys got to suck it up for one season. Like, but we need money and we need to put food on the table. All you guys got to do is suck this up for an 82-game season, and then you'll go back to making your big money.
A lot of tough decisions have to be made, and the great thing about it is that we don't have to make them, which I absolutely love. We just give our opinion about it, but we don't have to make the decision. So I'm you know what? I'm happy to be sitting in this seat that I'm in right now.
Me too, definitely. Well, that's going to do it for our 3-point stance this week. Oh, and early congratulations to Meghan's sister, who is about to give birth. This is why when Meghan said when you said you couldn't watch the match earlier this week, couldn't watch the match on Sunday, because your sister has been expecting a baby any hour now.
Pretty much any hour. We've been on standby for 2 days. It takes a long time, which I don't know, because I have never experienced this. But when they say it's like a long, slow and steady wins the race, it is slow. You're all just sitting there like, okay, where do you dilate it now? Okay, we're still.
Now, do we know boy or girl?
It's going to be a girl.
Okay, so you're going to have a niece.
I'm going to have a niece. I have a nephew now. I'm going to get a niece. So I'm just, and I'm the favorite auntie. I'm putting this on record. I am the favorite auntie. Everyone will agree. So I'm just,
That's probably because you let the kid have ice cream.
I do.
You have ice cream late at night. You don't make him go to bed on time. So, of course, you're the favorite auntie.
We watch basketball. We eat French fries. We eat ice cream. Like, how could you not love me?
Ketchup on salad.
Yes. We were, I don't feed the baby Mountain Dew yet. We haven't gotten there yet, but I get all the good stuff.
At any point, they're gonna be like, Auntie Meghan, you got a Mountain Dew? Can you get me some Mountain Dew? Hey, bring them up to our studio, our Grind City Media studio, our American studio. We got Mountain Dew up there for them if they want some Mountain Dew. All right, Meghan, but congratulations to your sister. You're going to be an aunt once again. I'm John Roser for Meghan Triplett. That is our 3-point stance presented by Mountain Dew.